Hey guys, so it's a nice day here in Seoul. Sunny, warm, not too hot. And we're going to take a look at this aqueduct canal park. So there are several of these types of parks around. It's very well landscaped here, and I like it, so I'm going to videotape it just because it's nice quality of life, place to hang out. So hey guys, just stopped by the outdoor market here. Mostly fish and vegetables, raw food for sale. Earlier I went by this store called Good Day Mart and picked myself up this sausage here for 90 cents US, which is it's $12.81. So that is about 90 cents US. Here in Korea, the food is kind of expensive here. So strangely, it's even cheaper in Japan, although the room in Korea is cheaper than what I had in Japan, right? Japan, it was more difficult to find private hotel room. Here I had like a private student room, which is a very low price here. So I'm not sure if I mentioned, but there's this store over in Japan. If you are traveling over there, it's called Super Tomato, and literally it's like half price of the other grocery store. So it's kind of like the Walmart of Japan, right? Here we go, guys. So it's actually up underneath this overpass here, which usually these aren't very nice places in the States here, but they have done a good job with this one. So let's take a look at this here. You have this unique little rock crossing. Lighting so you can cross it at night. Now whether this gets flooded when it rains, I'm not sure. So I don't know. It's been about this level since I've seen it. So as we go down in this direction, I'm going south here. So I'm going towards the center of Seoul here. The park gets better and better. You see you have these bike paths here. There we go, there's a cyclist. Now they don't have as many bicycles here in Seoul as they did in Osaka, right? So Japan's very popular. That's kind of one of the reasons why I like Japan a little bit more than I like Korea. Or there's a number of reasons for that. Now it's not too bad living here. The culture here in Korea, it's a little bit more bland, right? It's kind of just a little bit more boring than Japan. In Japan, when I was in Osaka, they had you had these little anime shops, with the characters, and the Japanese teens like to dress up like the little characters there. You got a cycling, you got some more interesting restaurants and things like that there that are just kind of, it's a little more like homey kind of. And the people, reason number 2 is that the people were more polite. So the Koreans are a little bit more what's the word? They're not quite as polite as the Japanese, right? Both groups of people they're kind of insular. They're a little bit reserved. But if it were my experience after having lived here for 2 weeks, and having lived in Japan for like 6 weeks or so, is that the Japanese are just a little bit more polite to foreigners, right? When I was actually flying out of the airport there in Osaka, you could see the groundskeepers waving at the people who are leaving. Look at the foreigners who are leaving the country there. They're just waving and saying goodbye, so they're very polite there. And, you know, what I saw, there's not any, a very limited amount of racism, just a little bit, you know, if you do count, the English is not good there in Japan. So literally, you know, so a lot of people who spoke nothing at all in English. Here in Korea, it's much better, the English. So Korea trumps Japan in terms of English, right? So what else can I tell you? Okay, so cycling. I'm a big time cyclist, right? I like city cycling like this. So I bought myself a bicycle over in Osaka and took that. You can see some of my videos. I actually was cycling over to Kobe. But I mostly stay in the city there in Osaka, and would just jump on my bicycle, ride around, you know, take a spin over to Super Tomate. So the room I had over in Japan, now I could have paid a little bit more and gotten like a private apartment in Japan, just bump up the budget a little bit. But the room I got over there just was like a mat room, so it was a worse room. But overall, I think I like Japan more. And the personality of the people, while the Japanese are kind of insular, the Koreans, this is just kind of my experience, is that they're very insular, right? So they are very shy. You know, I live in a building where the owner of the building doesn't want people to make any noise. So he's just telling me, please be quiet here, you know. So you could hear a pin drop. There's no social life inside there. It's just kind of, it's definitely not a party hostel there, you know, like. So here we have a little gym, as well as you just saw a playground over there. You've also got Wi-Fi in the park. You've got water. You've also got bathrooms here. So, yeah, so I was saying that the money for Japan is more than you would find in Southeast Asia or South Asia, you know, India, Indonesia, Bali, Philippines, Thailand, Vietnam, you know. That's way more expensive in Japan. So it might be, if I had to estimate how more expensive it is for a backpacker to live in Japan than it would in Thailand, I would say double, you know, or I had to cut some corners there to make that work out, and skipping out on some of the events and stuff like that. Although I did actually purchase a bicycle there and I sold it. Check this out, guys. A nicely landscaped little pond with a planked walkway across it here. And you have public restrooms up here. In Korea, they have convenient, just like a nice convenience here with you have the public bathroom. In some places you don't have that. So it's like if I want to go enjoy the park, then I have to leave the park to go home to go to the bathroom, right? If I'm drinking coffee or something like this, right? Or go to Starbucks, you know. So another unique thing about Seoul here is they have public Wi-Fi, right? So I'm just sitting here on the public Wi-Fi. I don't have a cell. I'm not using data, and this is all for free, right? And the Wi-Fi works perfectly fine. You know, I don't pay any taxes, of course, but it is, I guess, funded using public money there. So back to my country comparison here, Seoul, Korea versus Japan, right, or Osaka, Japan. The weather's very similar. So in most cases, the two countries are going to be very similar. You know, it's a very temperate weather, almost like California. It's not too hot or cold today. You know, it's like you can wear, you know, shorts or long sleeve shirt if you want to. I would compare the weather to, say, San Francisco, although it's a bit colder in the winter, right? But you know, I just came from Philippines, right? So Philippines, Indonesia, these are places where, you know, the sun is kind of toxic, you know, during the middle of the day. Here, it's not so bad. It's kind of like, you know, the mid-Atlantic in the U.S., you know. Let's take a look at the water here. Hey, we got some big fish in here. Wow, check this out. I guess that's a carp or something like this, Asian carp or something like this. So back to my comparison between Osaka, Japan and Korea. So for me, in terms of the dating environment, they're both kind of difficult for foreigners. But as a single male expat guy, traveler, you know, I prefer Japan. They're just, the women are cuter, westernized, but the English is really bad. So if you find somebody who speaks English there, that could be a plus. That's just my, you know, personal preference. And I am a single traveler, you know, alone. And I, you know, socialize with women in order to pass the time. Now, for South Asian women, I don't really find them to be as attractive. I prefer to date the Japanese, Chinese, and Korean. So here we have a little amphitheater. We've also got drinking water over here and a basketball court. So we have plenty of little amenities here in the park. Can't drink out of the tap in most places in Seoul. This place you can. I have not had any issue with the water in this tap. So let's see, down here we also have a gym and another little basketball court down here. So here's a volleyball court for kids. Little mini soccer court here. So this is one of the best parks I've ever seen, and it's also free, right? Swings. How this works, I'm not sure. Oh, let's see here. Check out the girl there. She looks Japanese, actually. Almost like one of those anime characters that they have over in Japan there. So that would have been a bit harder for me to live there. As it was also in Western Europe, right? So what I was doing in Western Europe to counter the money problem was just sometimes I was camping outdoors just to save some bucks, you know, for some weeks there. So it's more back in line with the Thailand living expenses there. Getting a bit cold over here, guys. Not cold, but just a little bit breezy. So gonna wrap it up here and head back to the room.